Hello and welcome to the Midweek conversation of First Baptist Sweetwater. This is episode 349.
Is it really?
It's pretty crazy.
Wow.
My name is Jerry Hendricks and I'm here with T. Camilton. We're in Studio A. We strive to be the first responders of God's love, and we're glad to have this opportunity to be a part of your week.
Yeah, definitely. 349th time.
Yeah, so this last week I took a little gander through our statistics, and I guess after doing this for a long time, your statistics start to kind of take off from where we started anyways.
Yeah. So what are our statistics?
Well, I think I told you we had more listens like the third week of July than we had the previous June. And
oh, wow.
So we had a record number of listens in July, of all-time listens, but had 2 weeks back-to-back of over 1,500 downloads.
Oh, wow.
So,
I'm glad you clarified.
Yeah. So
otherwise,
something...
They'd be like 8 and 4?
Well, no. Do what?
Otherwise, people might be like 8 and 4?
No, it's pretty legit. I don't know how a lot of that works, but that's the only number we have to compare, and all of us who are in this podcasting world compare that. So,
right.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting because normally we get... we've always run around 100 downloads a week, something like that, and then you'd have certain spikes that I have no idea how those occur, but
comes with consistency.
I think so.
That's what you hear.
Hey, I'm here today wanting to give a shout out to Monk's Coffee Shop. Happy anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
It's my new Monk's mug after the wording, the lettering on the mantle that's in Monk's. There's not much. There's some story behind why the O is offset, or not why it's offset, but just the fact that it's offset, and we never corrected it.
Right. And so now it's
it
that
was
way
just
on the mug.
it was sort of that Monk's mentality of the early days. They're a little more sophisticated now that I'm no longer running the thing, but
it's still offset.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think they're planning a celebration for this week, and so, anyways, it was 9 good years. I dropped by this morning. I had a dental appointment in Abilene, dropped by, got some tea, and said hi to everybody and came on home.
Well, for those listening, you showed your Monk's mug. That was the shout out. I'm sporting my blue mug today. Just shout out to blue mugs everywhere.
Shout out to blue. There you go. Listen, we're in a season where we have a lot to talk about, and we don't want to just talk about the events, but Sunday we recognized educators, 34 educators in the life of our church, and they were adopted by others in the life of our church, and that was something we started last year. This is the shirt, wearing the shirt that we gave the educators, and
we've already seen people wearing it last night.
Yeah, and it's a fun Sunday for us to think about, kind of who we are here at First Baptist, and that it worked well into the series we're doing called Worship, Grow, Serve. Right. And you had a hand in developing that process.
I was on that transition team when we came up with that's our process for discipleship here at First Baptist Church, that we expect 3 things from every involved member, or what's the word you use?
Fully engaged
member. Yeah. Worship, grow, and serve. You worship with us in worship. You're in a group that helps you grow, a Bible study group, and then that you're serving within the church.
Yeah.
So,
well, Sunday we talked about worship, and there was a lot of things that I didn't get around to saying. We had a bit of a compressed schedule, but the text was from Ephesians chapter 5, starting in 15, and in there, in the portion that talks about worship, it's interesting because the idea of worship that Paul shared was it's something that we participate in together. He was really referring to the way that we encourage one another in these forms of worship. Right. And so oftentimes when we think of worship and we talk about worship as far as having a personal aspect as well as a corporate church or community of faith experience, that a lot of times people will take off on that portion of worship and really make it more personal, I think,
more individual
in their experience. And so real interesting approach that he shared with the Ephesians, and one that's a part of just how a growing believer, and they were growing and developing believers at that time, really starts to see their faith life take shape.
I thought it was great how you said that you preached out of most of Ephesians, but the lectionary passage for that week you had never done.
Right.
And so we use lectionary so often for us not to use that one.
Yeah, so we intentionally use lectionary because it stays central to the message during Advent and the Lenten season.
Right.
And you get in these long periods like summer, and we've talked about this. We intentionally talk about this so we can help our people understand the importance of following through the entirety of Scripture and not just certain devotional thoughts you might have. But so the first wave that I'll always go through during these periods where we develop, I usually call it a hybrid theme with lectionary and then the things that we feel like we need to say in a season. And I saw that and I go, well, odds are I've already done that.
Because it's Ephesians.
And so the next week it's on the full armor of God. I've never done that one here. So it'll be 7 messages from Ephesians when we're finished here that I've done during my 7 years, or almost 7 years.
There's only, 6 chapters?
Right. Yeah.
So,
but so it is neat when that does work out that way, and and then of course it's synced with our emphasis on Sunday, and you just feel really good about the orchestration of that.
Yeah, that was cool how that all felt together. And then you're talking about worship, and that's the first time that we kind of renovated, remodeled, moved the whole worship service around.
Yeah,
special Sunday. And we do that every once in a while. We'll kind of change things up so we don't get stuck in a rut or whatever. And so it worked out really well, flipping the service.
Right. We did my message portion at the very front of the worship, and then kind of turned that corner for the more
the commissioning.
Yeah, the commissioning. So and prayer and leading into all that stuff. It felt better to come off that with songs. So, anyways, it was a good day, and we had a lot of folks here, a lot of folks that we could recognize and give shout outs to, and again, just a very good feeling as we think about our role in the workplace. If it's not education, it's in something where we have the opportunity to encounter people, and that's where we find ourselves as God's missionaries to the world.
Yeah, I think you and I mentioned it last week about how we have family that are educators. We've been family members who are educators. We forget that there's also the people who are living with those educators that walk through the school year with them. And that can be a stressful part also. I mean, because there's a lot of different personalities in one room at one time, and that's a stressful thing also. So a lot of times we become the ones that we get to listen and encourage. And
I was talking to James briefly this morning. I stopped by the shop to see if our T-shirts were ready for student ministry, and I was filling them in on a mutual friend and talking about their first day of school and first day of teaching. And as I was talking, I could tell that James didn't have the update of the latest change in that person's assignment because someone else had fallen ill, or there was something that had happened that was going to take them out for a good while, and they went a pretty dramatic change, particularly for a first-year teacher. And so, and then again Sunday I was talking to Stephanie Sanders that it's, as much as you'd like to think that the school year is predictable for educators, it's anything but predictable. Yeah. And it's not changes that the administration's making. That could be part of it, and it definitely plays a role, but it's all these other things that happen. So I know schools now, and in today's world, schools start with open slots, not having enough teachers.
Yeah. And it's one of those professions that you're always learning also. We talk about the number of continuing education hours they have. Technology, as it changes, teaching methods change. So, Stacy's in her room and her smartboard just got switched out and moved from the opposite side of the room. And so we had to turn the room around also. And she's still learning how to use the new smartboard. Right. I mean, they're constantly iPads coming in. We never even thought you could use a laptop computer in classroom, but they use them, and I mean, it's always something different every year. Or there's the newest, latest, greatest method to come out also.
Well, one last story, and I guess we can move on, but James was telling me that the new school that they're building in Abilene, all of their furniture is on a barge in California.
Oh, no.
And they're starting classes there tomorrow.
Stacy had that happen in her classroom.
Yeah, and Sarah, my daughter, she's in a new building, and they don't have everything yet. So I guess that's just part of it. You have a window of preparation, and through COVID this season,
right?
Everyone is familiar with inventories now in some fashion. Whether it's not having the cereal you want or usually eat, or Yoo-Hoos for camp.
Oh man! Well, at least non-boxed Yoo-Hoos.
Yeah. So, anyways, it is a challenge for them, and then we're excited to kind of track with them better this year with the adopted educators as well, or adopters, so that we can continue to encourage them and support them throughout the year.
Yeah, it's definitely a calling to be a teacher.
Oh, I think
or
so.
An educator.
100%. Well, last night we had softball.
We did. It was a good night,
and it was a good night, and we won.
We did win. It was a
so
fun
we have
game.
Good nights though, even when we don't win.
True, but I do hope our Coach Moore, wasn't there. He texted and said, "Hey, I won't be there. I need you to coach." So I just want, if he's listening, I want him to realize that I'm 1-0 as a coach. So when he gets back, if we lose, it's definitely all the coach. If I've learned anything from professional sports, it's always the coach's fault, but never the coach's victory.
Well, and the other thing about our coach is he is accustomed to pressure.
Yes, he is.
Because we put pressure on him
all the time.
So good luck with that. But now it was a lot of fun, and we were commenting this morning how it wasn't just our field, but it was everybody's. I guess it was 2 or 3
fields.
Yeah,
and all the bleachers, lots of people.
Yeah, and so I think everyone was having fun, at least for the first game in 2 years.
Yeah,
and so. Anyways, hopefully it'll be a fun season, and we may do pretty well out there.
1 down, 7 to go.
There you go.
I love being a part of it, but man, the organization part of it, that can get you after a while.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and then we're getting ready this Sunday to have our promotion Sunday. It's what we called it back in the day.
Yep.
We call it Launch Sunday here. Or actually, you did some research on this. We didn't call it Launch Sunday. We sort of accidentally started calling it that.
Yeah, we used to call it Kickoff Sunday, which made sense, football season, all that kind of stuff. But we switched to Launch Sunday because we didn't remember that we called it Kickoff Sunday. And so now it's Launch Sunday, and that works. I'm okay with that.
Well,
I like launching things.
Well, that's an episode.
It is. We got videos.
So, but we're looking forward to that next Sunday. There'll be some kids moving into new classes. You kind of, in your student ministry, that was always exciting. You get to see the new group of kids and know what you've got for the next 6 years.
Right.
Or is it 7 when they come in 6th grade?
6, 7, 8. No, it's 7.
Yeah. So that's a lot of fun. And I always enjoy on those first Wednesday nights of the season. It's just strange sometimes to see those little guys
that grew up over the summer
up there across the hallway into the youth building. So
there's an energy on that first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I mean, just an energy in the room. You walk in, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, and then our Wednesday night launch is saved for September 1st. It will be a party.
That's our launch party, yes.
Block party in the fellowship hall. And then the official launch is September the 8th.
Right. That's our first lesson.
Yeah. So we're excited about all these things coming up. Next Sunday, we talk about what it means to grow. I've got some new things that I want to share in regard to that, along with some reading that I've been doing in terms of discipleship and all. So I'm looking forward to developing a language for our church as we're kind of in a process where I've been leading, walking with our leadership about visioning our future and trying to think through what the next phases of the next 5 years look like. I know I really do probably operate on a 3-year plan. Really, truth be known, it's more like 18 months with the way things change. But we're considering the phases that we need to pass through over these next 5 years. And so those phases are what become critical. It's not so much a timeline as it is certain things that we want to see begin to develop. Well, I think for us as disciples, that's one of the things that we really want to focus on over these next few years, is how we're helping disciples develop in the life of our church. And it's something you and I talk about a lot in here and in our meetings, but we really want to bring it to the forefront for our church, so that from the time a person comes into our church, they have an understanding of how we set that up for them. Because so many people really do, even though it's not ideal, they really do rely on the systems and structure of the church to kind of help them to do that. And what I like about what we do, particularly in regard to lectionary, is that it's a system that you have for always, for wherever you are. It's not something that we generate or we create. We definitely want to leverage that for our own people, and then help them to kind of come into that stream of resources that help them to develop their faith. So I'm excited about it. I'm working on keeping it short right now, which I don't know that anyone knows that I have to work on that. That I'm a talker, so I
did enjoy Sunday where you were up there and you said, "Oh wait, this isn't an announcement. This is the conversation." I'm just letting y'all know this isn't a long announcement.
When we change the order, that's one of my concerns, is that people they make this mental shift, and they don't realize, oh wait, we're doing this different. It's not an announcement. When's he going to finish?
Some people thought we were getting out really early.
Apparently.
One song and then you were preaching like, all we got after this is invitation, right? A response.
Bring on the express service.
Whataburger, here we come.
Yeah. But a lot of things coming up. Stay tuned here, and as a part of our live worship on Sundays, we'll be talking about all these things. Best thing to do is to follow us on social media. There's where we share about upcoming events and the flow of our calendar, discipleship, everything. That's the go-to place to be informed. So thanks for letting us be a part of your week. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday.
See you then.